This is the recently revised Mercedes A-Class, and it's a little bit like an Apple iPhone SE because it's the cheapest way into Mercedes ownership, just like the SE is the cheapest way into owning an Apple iPhone. Now in this video I'm going to talk you through the upgrades and revisions Mercedes have recently made to this car by showing you around the exterior, the interior, taking it for a drive, telling you what's good about it, what's not so good about it, and of course launching it to see how quick it is from 0 to 60 miles an hour. Because I'm Matt Watson and you're watching Carwow. And I think that's a Spitfire. Wow. Hopefully it's not going to start shooting at this German. Sorry, terrible war reference. Buy, sell, Carwow. I'm going to talk you around the design of the revised Mercedes A-Class. So the rear is a little bit generic looking, isn't it? Now updates Mercedes have made include some slightly redesigned tail lights and a redesigned lower bumper. There you really have to look carefully to notice the difference compared to the pre-facelift version. I wish a part of the changes they got rid of the awful fake exhausts. That is embarrassing. What's also embarrassing is the fact that the AMG Line versions have a slightly sportier look. That's not a problem. It's the fact they've given them this like rear diffuser thing there. That's not going to diffuse anything. It's nonsense. Moving down the sides, there's some new alloy wheel designs. Start at 17 inches, which is too small, up to 19s. This car actually has the 18 inches. The AMG Lines also get like this extended side skirts there, make them look like they're hugging the road a bit more. Moving to the front, updates include some redesigned lights. They're all LED now, and I quite like the look of them. Plus a slightly larger bumper with the Mercedes signs in there, as well as a big one on the front there, and the other one there on the bonnet. There's lots of Mercedes branding going on there, isn't there? Also, there's a redesigned lower bumper, and once again, the AMG Line has a slightly more aggressive look to it over the standard version. Price of this car starts from £32,000. It's quite a lot of money. A BMW 1 Series starts at just over £28,000, and you can save an average of just over £2,000 off one through Carwow. Now, to compare the price of a wide range of cars and see what savings are available through Carwow, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. Alternatively, you can go to Carwow at a later date by simply Googling "Help Me Carwow" and we will help you buy your next car. Here on the inside, the main changes that Mercedes have made to the A-Class for this midlife update include giving you the big infotainment and digital driver's displays as standard. That's a good thing. They've also got rid of the weird touchpad thingy. You just control the screen through the touchscreen, which is what I did. I never used the touchpad. But what they've done is created a recessed space here, which is pretty much good for nothing. It's not large enough for my phone. It's not large enough for a normal size phone. What exactly is this for? Maybe, I don't know, to create a little water bath there, or a bowl for your little dog or cat that they can just, you know, drink from. Very strange that. Almost as strange as what I just did. Anyway, Mercedes has also given the car its latest steering wheel. Looks really good, like it. Apart from the fact I hate the touch sensitive buttons. They're a real fiddle to use. You often find yourself accidentally brushing them when you're driving and turning up the volume, changing radio station, all sorts of annoying stuff like that. It's all a bit form over function. And you could say that's true with the rest of the cabin. I mean, I love the design. It's aged really well, it looks cool, but it's all a little bit superficial. So when you start like tapping or pulling at things, it does feel a little bit on the cheap side. And some of the materials are just absolutely horrible. And check this out, look. It doesn't feel quite as sturdy as you'd expect from a Mercedes. Storage is good though, decent storage under here, 2 USB-Cs. You have 2 cup holders there for your bottles of water and stuff. There's some more storage here with another USB-C, which is actually a connection point for your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for connecting to the infotainment system, and they are both wireless. There's decent storage here in the glove box, and you've got some huge door bins. Look, they can accommodate large flasks. And the driving position, yeah, I think it's really good. You can sit nice and low if you want to, or get the seat quite a bit higher. Headroom might be an issue if you like to jack the seat all the way up. There is lots of adjustment in the steering wheel though, look at that. So it is quite easy to find your ideal driving position. Here in the back seats, the only thing that I can see that Mercedes has changed is this here. Now there used to be a little drawer there that you could flip out, but it kind of meant that this whole area looked like a talking robot. It was a bit weird. Now though, they just sealed that up and given you a USB charging port there, which everyone in the back can share. It's probably a bit better than it was before. The rest of it is as it was before, so decent knee room. Headroom's all right, though not quite as much as in a Volkswagen Golf. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. In terms of carrying 3 people in the back at once, well, it's sort of doable. It's a bit of a squeeze, and this central seat is quite narrow and firm, but the footwells are large enough for everyone's feet, even though there is a bit of a hump in the floor. If you need to, you can actually fold down the central seat to carry longer items, or maybe use it as an armrest if you really want to. You've got some exposed Isofix anchor points there, which make it really easy to fit a baby seat, though it is a bit of a struggle to get it in because the rear doors don't open all that wide. I like this though, look. The rear windows go all the way down, and while I was complaining about quality overall in the front, at least soft door tops extend into the rear, which they don't do on a Volkswagen Golf. Storage wise, look, nettage, big door bins for carrying large bottles. Good. Let's move on to the boot. The A-Class's low capacity is ever so slightly smaller than its key competitors. So you've got 350 litres of space. By comparison, an Audi A3 has 380 litres of space. So it's just over 10% larger in volume. Now, if you want to see my full in-depth video review of the Audi A3, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. Another thing about this car is that you can't alter the height of the floor like you can in some of its competitors. As a result, there's a bit of a load lip to lift things over, which is annoying if you've got heavy luggage like this. Oh. Now, there are a few tie-down points and places where you can hang things off. And if you need to carry larger items, you can fold down the rear seats. And they split 3-way, as I showed you earlier, because look, you can detach that one. But herein lies another issue. Because those headrests are fixed and they sit quite high, sometimes you have to go round and just move the front seats just a little bit so you can get the back ones up to lie. This is embarrassing. Flat. And that brings me on to 5 annoying things about the Mercedes A-Class. All but the sporty AMG A35 and A45 versions of the A-Class come with old-fashioned torsion bar suspension when the back wheels are joined together rather than being able to move independently from one another like they can on most of this car's competitors. And it means that it just feels a little less sophisticated. It's a bit like the difference between an old-fashioned pram that my mum might have pushed me around in the 1970s compared to a modern day bugaboo. The shiny surround for the air vents and this black plastic really are quite reflective. So when it's bright outside, you just get the sun pinging off those into your eyes. It's distracting. There is no underfloor storage. Yes, you can lift this up to reveal your tyre sealant. Oh, and a little area there next to whatever that is. I think it's the battery. So you can't store this anywhere. You have to just lay it down like that in the car, which means it might get damaged if you're loading the boot with heavy items. You know what that means? It means this has to get yeeted. It's the carwow review rules. There is no grab handle for the front passenger. You have them in the back, so maybe if you want to hold on, you sort of have to do that. I don't know why they haven't put one here. I don't. If you want your Mercedes A-Class to have adaptive cruise control, so it will steer to keep you in lane and automatically keep you a safe distance from the car in front, you will need to go for the very top of the range car, the AMG Line Premium Plus, and then pay an extra £1,500 for the adaptive cruise, which seems a bit ridiculous really, especially when something like a Toyota Corolla has adaptive cruise control on all versions of that car as standard.
It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car.
Unlike on so many other cars, the reversing camera remains hidden until you put the car into reverse, and then it pops out. What this means is that the camera always remains clean, because when you drive off, it goes away again, so it doesn't get covered in road grime. The top two specification A-classes get something called augmented reality satellite navigation. What that does is use a live camera feed, a little camera up there, which displays here on the satellite navigation when you come to a junction, then it superimposes directions over that live camera feed. I'd love to show you here, but because this isn't one of the top two spec models, it's actually the second trim up, it doesn't have that fitted. I just love the fact that the gear selector lever is here on the steering column, rather than down here on the center console, like on so many other cars. It's much easier when you're maneuvering. Look, I want to go forwards. Oh no, I want to go backwards. Oh no, I definitely want to go forwards again. No, backwards for sure. Oh, that's it, I'm thinking that's just perfect, I'm gonna park. Easy! These little runners here make sure that the rear seat belts don't snap when you fold the back seats down. And to stop the buckle from rattling when you're driving, you can actually secure them there like that. You get a specific car wash mode. So when you engage it, it automatically folds in the mirrors, closes the windows, turns off the parking sensors and the rain sensor for the windscreen wiper, and it turns off the rear window wiper as well. So you're all good to go. The engine lineup for the Mercedes A-Class hatchback is pretty simple. There's two 1.3 litre turbo petrols, one with 150 horsepower, or this one here, which has 177 horsepower. There's also a 2 litre diesel with 150 horsepower. All cars are front-wheel drive and come with automatic gearboxes. There are AMG versions available of this car, which have a lot more performance. And if you want to see my in-depth video review of the A45S, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. The Mercedes A-Class is a very easy, relaxing car to drive in town. All-round visibility is pretty good. Little bit of a blind spot though on the rear quarter when you're like pulling out at junctions like that. However, everything else is nice and easy and simple to use. Steering is light, the turning circle is pretty tight, 11 meters. It's not bad. Makes it easier to do U-turns in town. The automatic gearbox, it does a good job of switching gears up, and the brakes, they're quite progressive, so you don't end up headbutting the steering wheel when you brush the pedal. Then when you get up to faster speeds, say 40 miles an hour, and you suddenly need a burst of acceleration, say to join a motorway, floor the throttle, slight pause for the gearbox to kick down, but then you're off, and the engine does a good job. It's quite smooth and delivers good performance in this particular car. It's the 177 horsepower version. Now, as you're going at higher speeds, you do notice a little bit of wind noise from there. As for the economy, well, this thing is averaging 39 miles to the gallon, which isn't stellar, but it's not awful either. When you come to a twisty road, the A-Class handles pretty well. So the steering feels nice and accurate, fairly sharp. The body remains pretty flat through the bends, it doesn't lean over too much. One problem I do notice though is if you hit a bump mid-corner, it can skip sideways slightly. Part of the reason for that is the fact that you haven't got independent rear suspension, and one bump on one rear wheel is actually transmitted through to the other rear wheel, and you know, as a result, this car doesn't feel quite as sure-footed or planted when the road gets a little bit bumpy and out of shape compared to, say, a BMW 1 Series. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. Mercedes says this 177 horsepower version of the A-Class should be able to do 0 to 60 in 8.3 seconds. We're going to find out what the reality is now using specialist timing gear. Launch time. Terrible pull away. What's the time going to be though? Better than they said, 8 seconds. Actually 8.03, not 8.3. Win. So then, what's my final verdict on the revised Mercedes A-Class? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the A-Class. It really is a good all-round small family car. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know if you agree with my verdict in the comments below. If you want to watch some more videos, click on those windows there. And if you click on that box there, you can go to CarWow to sell your car the easy way. Just upload some photos, give a brief description, then dealers all across the country will bid on your car. It's simple. Thanks for watching.